Hello folks, it's Monday the 16th, Martin Luther King's birthday, and it's time for the news. We've seen the weather settle into a more stormy pattern, and it appears it will continue in this pattern through Thursday. Today should be a little less stormy than yesterday, and tomorrow will be more stormy again. Wednesday is still scheduled for storms, but it will begin tapering off, and by Thursday it's just a chance of rain, with only 7/100ths of an inch expected. Temperatures should be 71 for a high today, 50 overnight for a low. Tomorrow should only reach a high of 52. Wednesday will be around 46 for a low and 62 for a high. Thursday's low will be 48, and that should yield to a high of 70 degrees. The average low for this date is 40 degrees, and the average high is 62. The record high was 87, set in 1943, and the record low was 14 degrees, set in 1988. The sun rose this morning at 7:30, and it will set this evening at 5:59. We have a waxing gibbous moon, with 79% of the surface facing the Earth being illuminated. Today is Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday holiday. Yesterday, the 15th, actually marked Dr. King's birthday. Some of you may not know much about this holiday and its interesting origin. On April 4th, 1968, Mrs. King had lost her husband, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., to an assassin's bullet. In the months after the death of the civil rights icon, Congressman John Conyers, Jr. of Michigan introduced the first legislation seeking to make King's birthday, January 15th, a federal holiday. The King Memorial Center in Atlanta was founded around the same time, and it sponsored the first annual observance of King's birthday in January of 1969, almost a decade and a half before it became an official government-sanctioned holiday. Before then, individual states, including Illinois, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, had passed their own bills celebrating the occasion. The origins of the holiday are mired in racism, politics, and conspiracy. 3 years after Conyers introduced preliminary legislation in 1968, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which King headed from its inception until his death, presented Congress with a petition signed by more than 3 million people supporting a King holiday. The bill languished in Congress for 8 years, unable to gain enough support until President Jimmy Carter, former governor of Georgia and the first Democratic president since Lyndon Johnson, vowed to support a King holiday. Reinvigorated by the president's support, King's widow, Coretta, testified before joint hearings of Congress and organized a nationwide lobby to support the bill. Yet, in November of 1979, the King holiday bill was defeated in the House by just 5 votes. Coretta continued her fight for approval of a national holiday, testifying before Congress several more times and mobilizing governors, mayors, and city council members across the nation to make the passage of a King holiday bill part of their agenda. Singer Stevie Wonder became a prominent proponent and released the song Happy Birthday in 1980. It became a rallying cry. He and Coretta went on to present a second petition to Congress. This one contained 6 million signatures of support. Their work finally paid off when the House passed the bill with a vote of 338 to 90. The fight to get the bill enacted was still a tough one, but President Reagan signed the bill into law in November in 1983. And the first official holiday was observed on the third Monday of January in 1986. The Boerne Independent School District wishes to remind you to mark your calendar for Thursday the 26th at 1:30 p.m. when the 4th grade music classes of Faber Elementary, under the direction of Don Piper, will stage a production of The Adventures of Lewis and Clark. This will take place on campus in the presentation area of the cafeteria. Well, that's the news for now, and I'm Tom Allred reporting. Now we'll get you back to those original hits of the 50s and 60s right here on 1500 KBRN in Boerne, Texas. And think about this. If you already know the worst that can happen in a given situation, what's stopping you from pursuing the best?